Chuggalos, welcome back to day 18 of the 2025 Brew Crew Podcast Advent Calendar in conjunction with our friends from the Barrel House. Today, I don't look too far ahead ever, but I'm very excited about today because today's beer, which is Cantillon Kriek 100% Lambic Bio 6% in a shorty from our friends at the Barrel House. Be nice or fuck off. I think that's 2 days in a row. This beer, I was reminded when I was making my notes, is really a part of my craft beer journey, this style of beer, Lambics. I'll get into that in a second because there's a couple of pictures that I want to show. And JT and I have often over the years talked about our craft beer journey, and I often leave this beer out, and it's actually a really fun story. So what I want to do is I want to crack this beer. I'm going to check it out immediately, and then we'll get into some of the other fun content. 3, 2, 1. I don't expect hardly any carbonation on this Lambic. And Kriek, for those of you that may not know, means cherries. So it's a Belgian beer. Look at that. Not as deep and red as previous beers that we've had, like that Black Razeth. But I could just sit here, put that off. Oh, like viney, vinegary, tart. Oh, so excited. I'm just... Oh, right there in the clackers. In the clackers, as Chuggalo Kate has said. All right, let's check out the scores. We got a lot of people that have are catching up, submitting scores, so we'll go check this out. So JT and Svil with a dynamite episode yesterday. That barrel-aged robe. JT with a 5. Myself with a 4.5 yesterday. Mikey with a 4.25. A little bit of a surprise. Those bigger stouts do really well with Mikey when they don't taste like coffee. Kate, hilarious with a 1. I got 2 comments at work about people that watched the video and commented on. They're like, hey, that friend of yours that gave it the 1. Seth Kiss with a 4.25. Give it Gus with a 4.5. Better Matt's still waiting. Stev, 3. Svil with a 4.75. Chunkle with a 3. And the day prior that, Dolphin Drift, I knew that would be right up his alley, a 4.5. He said, and you can go check this out by watching Stev's video, he's still holding back that 5. I don't know if it's going to come for him. Maybe with the helmet nachos that are coming up in a couple of days. Corey Dory with a 2.5. And then a 4 on the Dolphin Drift. Tox with a 2. Don and Aaron praised this beer. I think it's Aaron's favorite beer. 4.75. Bobby with a 2. And Pete with a 4.75. Papa KK with a 5. Funny thing, Chuggalo Pete, who is on day 5 of the Advent Calendar, sitting right next to me here, was supposed to bring it over for a gathering before he skips town for the holidays and totally forgot it. So that's why some of my friends, some of our friends were looking where they could get that beer. And I told them, watch out for our friends at the Barrel House. I bet that's going on tap soon. Otherwise, Gus or Better Matt will correct me. Okay, so this beer, it's absolutely a delight. This is going to do very well with me. That traditional Belgian Lambic. And again, a Lambic, what's a Lambic? It's fermented through exposure to wild yeast. So instead of using like a traditional brewer's yeast, it's wild yeast that's collected, and for in Cantillon's instance, organic ingredients from around the brewery, which is also in Belgium. So let's go with Kate's review. Then we'll do the website and we'll do a couple of things. So let's check out what Kate has to say.
All right, we have day 18, a Cantillon Kriek. I don't know. 100% Lambic Bio, 6%. On the sheet, I read it's God tier sour cherry something or other. He said sour and cherry. Those are 2 of my favorite things, and if they're God tier, let's go.
I'm excited for this.
Yesterday. Hops better than heat. Oh, I can smell the sour. All right, here we go. And cherry colored. Look at that. Little bubbles.
Almost matches the hoodie.
I don't know. I don't want to judge it yet. Here we go. Oh, it's got the sour. Woo!
Clackers.
Yeah. That's the clackers. 1,000% clackers.
I'm stealing that from her.
But I like it. It's not something you're gonna hammer, but it's refreshing.
Please, this is crushable.
It's got the punch. I like it. It almost has almost rhubarb-ish of a sour instead of like the muted cherry. But I would definitely drink this. Maybe one and done sort of thing, or share with a friend. I like this, surprisingly enough. I give this it's not perfect, but I'll give it a 4.7.
4.75. I'm turning it into a lip reader because she... Sorry, Stacy. She cuts it off quick. Clackers I'm totally stealing that. That's going to be in the podcast in perpetuity because JT and I, for years and years and years, we've always pointed to the back. It's the Clackers. It's like back there. You guys all know what Clackers is. All right, I'm not surprised, especially when she confirmed that sour and cherry are like her jam band. So let's check out the website, which doesn't offer a lot, but there's a little bit of information that we can distillate from there. So I had to change it to English because it's in Belgium. The one thing I learned about with my little bit of research, when this brewery went to organic in 1999, there was a lot of breweries in Belgium, but now there's only very few left. And there isn't too much about us, but look at it. It opened in 1900, and we can find that out. There's not too much here on the website. And that's the family. It's a 4th generation family that operates this. And crazy if that's all the staff and how they have such a global reach and a global impact with their finely done wild fermented or wild yeast fermented beers. All right. So this is where I found a little bit of information. Go to old Wikipedia. 1900 by Paul Cantillon, whose father was a brewer. 400,000 bottles a year. And spontaneously fermented. Again, all traditional. And the only change that they've done in 125 years is they went organic. That's crazy. And then just the different types of beers that they do. Again, this is just one of those sought after and praised beers. As far as like in my friend group, and I see all the time, like, oh, we got Cantillon, and it bounces off the shelves. It's just highly sought after if this is your style of beer. So the one thing I wanted to say is my Kriek journey. So I talk about craft beer journey, like moving to Ohio. When I was in Germany in 2002, there was a Belgian officers club on the base, and I was able to go. And I fell in love with a beer that is called Mort Subit. And the artwork has changed a little bit, and Kate was actually drinking from a fairly traditional glass. But Mort Subit was a a beer that I fell in love with. Very, very much on par with the Lambic. So again, water, cherries, 25% barley malt, wheat, wild yeasts, which is critical to a Lambic, hops, and hop extract. So that beer, and I always forget about this story, that beer was probably the start of my craft beer journey. And what I mean by that is, so if you do the math, in 2002, I was 19 years old. I was not old enough to be able to, I could drink in Europe, but I couldn't drink in the United States. So I bought cases, and if you know anything about European cases, they're almost like they're the plastic with the single bottle holders with no top. So I bought a case of that, and I had to get it back, commercial mind you. We didn't fly military this flight, and I ran out of socks. I was like using socks, and these are the very thick Euro bottles that are pretty resilient to impacts. So I was freaking out when I got to customs. I was like, do you have anything to declare? Yeah, I've got 24 bottles of beer that I'm very worried about, and they're very heavy, and I'm going to be at the weight limit or more. But I'm traveling on orders, and I don't know anything. I've been in the military at this time for just over a year. So there was a guy, we'll call him Jimmy Jansen, rest in peace Jimmy Jansen, who pulled me aside and goes, I will say that I'm your dad. And Jimmy Jansen, who passed away a little bit more than 10 years ago, and I deployed with him again. And Chuggalo Dave, when he listens to this, he'll remember Grandpa Jansen, as we referred to him, goes, I'll claim it. So we're going through, and he goes to the customs agent, who probably didn't care. He goes, hey, my son's got some beer in his, it's for me. I claim it, whatever. And they looked at, our IDs, different last names, whatever, mixed family or hybrid family or whatever. And they're like, go on. And I gave Jimmy Jansen a bottle of that Mort Soup Eat, and I just cherished that stuff. And I had no clue. I went back to, drinking, be it Blue Moon or Strongbow, a cider out of UK. But Mort Soup Eat, and that just turned me on. And ever since then, I am very nostalgic about lambics, especially lambics that are done in the Low Countries, be it Belgium or the Netherlands or Luxembourg. So that's my Kriek story. I hope I did it justice, and I don't think I've ever mentioned that before on the podcast when we've talked about our craft beer journey starting 8 years ago. But that's one, when I was just doing my research, I was like, I have to bring that up. Okay, so this beer. I mean, no one looks at the Mona Lisa and goes, it could be better. It's not underwhelming. Everyone is in awe of what the Mona Lisa is and what it means to, the world of art, and how it's, I think it's the most visited piece of art in the world. It's unknowable. I don't have a computer that's connected to the internet. How do you fix this? Sure, you could ramp it up, put it on steroids, inject it with like cherry extract or something like that, but you're ruining with the balance that's been crafted for hundreds of years. And in this case, with the only change in 125 years being going to organic ingredients 26 years ago. Again, no choice, off the top rope, but a 5. Why? I could drink multiples of these because your palate clears out. Like even right now, I just have a slight cherry taste and slight tartness, but it's not, it vacates, it leaves very quickly. Now, I don't know how the night would go if I drank 4 or 5 or 6 of those in a night. It'd be a good night, but I'd probably raise those sugars with all of that cherry juice, the actual cherries in there. But this is such a lovely beer, such a historical resonating point with me. It's just all of that combined. I have no choice but to give it a 5. And with that, I want to talk about the next few days and my scores. Going a little bit long here, and you have my apologies on that. So we've got a murderer's row of beers coming up. So we just did the Cantillon, gave it a 5. The Hoof-Hearted Helmet Nachos, they just put out dynamite stuff. That's in New England. The Mortalis, this is going to be... Multiple Mortalis beers were suggested to us by Better Matt and Gimmick Gus on the calendar build. And they just swept across the tables. We couldn't buy enough of them. And he goes, hey, there's going to be one of those in the calendar. And the fact that it's with 450, this is going to be a sneaky, dark one that's going to polarize the crowds, but I think it's going to hit a home run. Dogfish Head Triple Decadence, we've had it, but it's such a decadence. Again, you put decadence in your beer, it elicits a lot of things. Maybe unfairly, maybe fairly. The Amber, this is the unknown. This is the wild card. If Gus put it in there, there's a reason. I'm excited to hear the reason. I've never heard of either of these, that brewery, Brasseur de la Seine. I'm guessing French, because the Seine is a river in France. The Mushu, I think that's 7 times. That's JT's pick. A dark blend, ominous. And then that Masthead Vanilla Sun Killer. A murderer's row of beers coming up with an amazing variety. And again, we're back on this. What a crescendo to come to. I have high hopes for all of those beers, but I know, without exaggerating, most, if not all of them, are going to deliver phenomenal content, scores, and conversation with all the Chuggalos doing the Advent calendar. But that's it for day 18. I'm going to go savor this over the next probably 35 seconds once I start processing this. But I hope that you guys are all having a fantastic Thursday, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.